Hey, what's up guys? This is Bryce Anhusen from Silver Talon and the Leather Leone Band, and today we are going to talk about 3 of my favorite tools for intonating a Floyd Rose style tremolo bridge. Alright, so as you guys know, if you've been following me on Instagram, which if you're not, you should totally follow me over there because the more the merrier, I say. But if you've been following me, then you know that I am in the middle of recording the newest record for Silver Talon, and that means that making sure all of my guitars are in tune and intonated is the name of the game. So I've been doing a lot of sitting in front of the old Peterson strobe tuner, making sure that everything's all fine-tuned, and I've put together a short list of 3 of my favorite tools to make that job a little bit easier. So let's check them out. All right, so first up, a little bit of a primer. If you are new / uninitiated to the world of intonating a guitar, any guitar bridge, Tune-o-matic, Stratocaster, Floyd Rose, whatever, there are a couple different things that you should know that'll make your life a little bit easier. So Floyd Rose is similar to any other bridge in that, right, basically what you do is you want to get everything nice and in tune here, right? So everything open string, E to E, nice and in tune. And then you're gonna fret the 12th fret, right? Kind of nice, kind of light. I usually like to do it on the neck pickup just because there is maybe a little bit less, I don't know, it just feels a little bit more even. I don't exactly know why, but that's what I like to do. So you're gonna fret the 12th fret here, and then pluck the string, and depending on if the string is sharp or flat at the 12th fret, you're gonna do one of 2 things. If the fretted note is flat, meaning it's lower than where it should be tuned open, you're going to move the saddle closer to the nut, effectively making the string shorter. If the fretted note is sharp, meaning it is higher than the open note, you're going to move the saddle away from the nut, effectively making the string longer. So we are basically living in a world of micro movements at this point, and any kind of small, tiny adjustment is going to have a pretty big effect on the overall sharpness or flatness or intunedness, I just made up a word, of the note on the string in question. So the way that the Floyd Rose does this is pretty genius in that you have a saddle here, and then it is locked into place with this little Allen hex screw thingy here, and that's essentially what you're using to either move the saddle closer to the nut or further away. So once you get these things all set, it's pretty much set and forget, so long as you don't change your strings or your tuning or go through numerous geological zones that are going to drastically change the way that the truss rod is sort of set. But yeah, you should be pretty much, you know, set and sort of forget. So I usually kind of do this sort of thing maybe once before recording or something like that. All right, so first up, handy tool number 1. As you can see, I already have them on this guitar, and I've mentioned them in some previous videos that I've done, but these are what are known as hollow points. I guess they called them hollow points because you want to be locked and loaded to shoot your musical load onto unsuspecting members of the audience or something like that. Anyway, let's see. I'm gonna pull this one off here and then we can take a closer look at it. Got to restring this guitar so we can let the string be loose. All right, so sorry, I'm having a hard time getting this thing to focus. This is what it is. Now these are made from a company called Black Cherry, I believe, but you can get them on the Floyd Rose website or at Sweetwater, or, you know, wherever you're used to buying your gear. But basically, you replace your saddle lock, or your string lock screws, right? So the things that you're moving away to lock the string into place in the saddle. And what this does is it adds basically a fully threaded screw here, and this extra little bit at the end that you can see it has kind of a little grippy, turny bit on it, and it has this little divot in the middle here. Now what this does is it basically sits with the fine tuner in here and sort of holds everything in place so that your saddle doesn't jump forward or move backward when you undo the saddle lock screw here. And to illustrate that, I have removed a fine tuning screw. Let's see if I can do this here. All right, so this is basically going to sit in there, and then it's going to hold it in place in the bridge so that essentially you're able to make those micro adjustments and move the saddle closer or further away, depending on if the string is sharp or flat. So these are without a doubt my favorite method, my favorite additional little tool for intonating your Floyd Rose tremolo. They're really easy to use. They really work. It's such a simple design. It keeps this right in place here. And all you have to do to intonate is just move this thing here and it pushes it forward or back. And everything kind of just pivots off of this thing, which is adjusted or which is held in place in your bridge. There you go. It's really simple. Nothing really slips, nothing falls out of place. It's pretty foolproof. Now I will say one of the bad things about these, the hollow points, is that it does tend to limit the actual full range of motion of the fine tuning thing here. So I am still able with, certain guitars that have tremolo stabilizers, like this, I am still able to, push it all the way down and have that be E or whatever. And then if I wanted to drop D, I can still back it out with this in place, but it does limit the overall amount of real estate that you have with moving sharp or flat with the fine tuners. So you will undoubtedly have to unlock at the nut and make kind of the bigger adjustments and sort of reset these things to even and then lock and do your fine tuning more often than if you didn't have these. But that's a bit of a sacrifice. It sort of affects the overall everyday tuning of your guitar. Whereas, like I said, I don't really have to intonate stuff very often. It's usually once or twice a year kind of thing, if that. These make that job very simple. It's usually hold everything into place, but do keep in mind that you do lose some of the up and down real estate of your fine tuners. Next up, this is my most recent intonation tool purchase. This is the Red Bishop, what is this called? Intonation tool, something like that. It has a SKU RBIA1. This is, I think you can get these off of Amazon, where I got this one, and make sure to get the one that is specifically for Floyd Rose or for whatever bridge you're using, if that's an Ibanez or a Godot or something like that. I mostly use Floyd Rose, so of course I get the Floyd Rose one, which is a little bit bigger, a little bit beefier than the others. So basically the way that this works is this thing goes in where the string block is, this thing goes around the fine tuner, and then you tighten this, it holds everything into place, and you undo the screw, the saddle set screw, and then you can make your fine tuning adjustments with this. So basically, if we can, as you can see, the little notch is going into the block here, this little area here, this little doohickey, I don't know what any of these are called. There's no scientific names for any of this stuff, guys. But basically it's going around the fine tuner, and then we're going to pull everything and make it kind of nice and tight with this big blue thumb screw. There we go. That is tight. If I undo this screw here, it's not going to jump around, and I can make those fine tuning adjustments using this. And it's going to basically hold it into place so that I don't have to damage my little fingies any more than I'm going to do myself. Yeah. I am a big fan of this. It's really easy to use. It's pretty simple. It's not quite as convenient as the hollow points because sometimes you can find yourself sort of, this thing can slip, it can fall out of place, it can whatever. It can come off in the middle and then your saddle just goes flying forward, and then you got to reset everything kind of based on where your memory was. So there is a little bit of, not as easy as the hollow points, I guess. But, for something where, say, I'm using like a D-tuna on a guitar, or if I have an old Schaller style bridge, like on my old Charvels, or the 87 Jackson Custom that I have, this one will work. So it'll work with a number of bridges. And this is the one that I keep in my inky tour case over there with all my guitars. If I need to make any sort of fine-tune adjustments for anything on the road that doesn't have the hollow points like this guitar doesn't, this one's gonna do the job. It's gonna work. Really simple, haven't had any issues with it, and definitely does make the fine-tuning process quite a bit easier. Definitely recommend this one if you want something that's going to handle basically multiple different guitars. Okay, and lastly, this is one that I think is made by Floyd Rose directly. This is called the Key. Now basically what this does is this little lip here goes underneath your fine tuner, and this holds that in place, and then this is going to go around the set screw, or the string lock set screw, so that you can then undo the Allen screw here and your saddle's not going to fly forward. So this will only work with a Floyd Rose or kind of the Schaller Lockmeister style, right? So you have to have the saddle screws with the little additional lip on them. So here's a really old saddle that I have replaced. Look at that thing, man. That was beat up. A lot of shows played with this one. Again, the way that this is going to fit on here is you basically want it to connect there. So you need to have a string lock screw that has this little lip. So if it's any of the old school kind of standard Schaller bridges that have just the fat barrels, it's not going to work. This will only work for Floyd Rose or the Schaller Lockmeister bridges, and it says as much on the website. So this one, honestly, probably my least favorite of the three aforementioned tools, specifically because, you know, you can only use it with Floyd Rose bridges. And yeah, it does this thing where, you know, sometimes it'll sit really close to the body, or even, you know, hit the actual body as well when you're trying to work on it. And I think I've left a little dent in some of the guitars that I've worked on with this one. The other thing is there's not really much. The points where you're holding onto the actual guitar, the actual bridge, are not very big, so this thing gets really hard to turn sometimes. But it does work. I've intonated a number of guitars with this, and it's better than using your fingers. So those are my three favorite tools, kind of in order, really. So hollow points being number 1, the Red Bishop being number 2, and then the Floyd Rose Key being number 3. These are the three main tools that I like to use for helping me to intonate my Floyd Rose guitars, because it can be quite a pain in the ass. All right, I know you guys probably have some products that you know of that I have never heard of, so if you do, leave them in the comments and I'll be sure to check them out. All right, thanks so much for watching. If you guys are into this super in-depth slash nerdy guitar kind of stuff, and especially in topics surrounding Floyd Rose bridges, since I seem to do a lot of videos on them, go ahead and give me a like and a subscribe, because we will be back with more Floyd Rose related content to hopefully make your life a little bit easier. All right, I am Bryce Van Hoosen. I will see you in the next one.